は Hello everyone from this side of Japan. We're here in the Kyushu portion of Japan, southwest from Tokyo. We're also here in Oita, and the track here, Autopolis. Round 2 of the Hololive GT3 Japan series is about to get underway. Welcome everyone here to this racetrack. Let's first talk about the track map that is Autopolis. Get to know more about this interesting racetrack here in Oita. Track length 4.67 kilometers, good for 45 laps for 200 kilometers, 19 corners in total. And you can see here with a lap count of 45 laps. We're looking at a target lap time of a 1:46.903. That should be the target lap time for all these cars. Obviously, we have also been reported that there have been nerfs to the Lexus machinery in Hololive GT3 after they have had a very dominant 2023. We also want to talk about the most recent winning driver and talent combination. That should be Isekaijin Mikolev and Sakura Miko winning the November Autopolis race. And obviously, if you want to talk about the overall situation here when it comes to the aero situation, we have had 7 drivers winning for 7 different Oshis in Autopolis. Can we see a first repeat winner in terms of at least for the Oshis? We've seen the Lamy car, the Shishiran car, we've seen the Marine and Noel cars winning in 2022 Hololive GT3. And then in 2023 Formula Hololive, we get to see the Himamori Luna and Mawasa Zanene Apollo cars winning here in Autopolis. And then in November, we got to see the Sakura Miko car winning in Hololive GT3 earlier in November. Will we see a new unique winner, or will we see our first repeat? Of course, this is a qualifiers round 2 of the qualifiers in the Hololive GT3 Japan series. The road to the Suyo will get to its halfway stages after we finish this round, so hopefully everyone is able to tune in. Anyways, let's take a look into the spotters guide of the Hololive GT3 Japan series for this season. We have updated it for round 2. Changes include Kiko Takaboshi replacing the outgoing Adak-RMS, who after the first round of Hololive GT3 has decided that he has called it quits for his aero career. Kiko Takaboshi, the interim driver, is due to take place in succeeding Adak-RMS. And the other new changes that we have seen is Rustim Karashio in the Lapless Darkness number 39 Nissan. He will be the new full-time driver for that number 39 Lapless car after failed attempts to get Franco in for his first race, replacing Takeda Adachi in that number 39 Lapless Darkness Nissan. Every other seat remains unchanged, and without it, let's take a look into the championship order and see what has happened on round 1 and what are the stakes. First of all, we have Remo Olgo winning the previous race in Sugo. He now has the championship lead over Raiji Kaczynski and Caleb Gibbons. Kamina Reba, after his amazing run in his first race with Shishiro Botan, he now sits 4th place. We have Lazar Demashnev, Lorenzo Ricci, Johan Sinful, and Mohamed Cashew finishing up the front 8 lockout for Lexus cars. Sean Pauli is the fastest Honda on the previous round at Sportsline Sugo alongside Irene Nakamura in 10th. Charlie Reza also not far behind alongside Jake Goodwin in 11th and 12th. Michael Turner 13th alongside Daniel Barger, the fastest Nissan on 14th. Fortunately, as we've said, the Nissan fortune should be turned upside down with the Lexus car receiving yet another nerf. And then Rustim Karashio inherits 15th place from Takeda Adachi. Liu, Alex Grant, Jeff Clark, Cesar Liu, and Jeff Rohan make up the final 5 Suyo qualification spots. Holly Williams and Richie Watt are the first 2 guys in the Zako qualifying spots. They will hope to try to be in the top league of the Hololive GT3. And then we have Hofumi, Ed Sky, Daniel Goyena, Dan Evans, Keiko Takaboshi, who recently replaced Adak-RMS, who did crash out in the previous race at Sportsline Sugo. Isekaiji Mikolev, Fabio Menes, and Mawashaki Reza have some work to do, as well as Harley Bartolio, Alistair Antanarao, Kusha Salman, Aki Tanaka, and Maverick Duciem. All of these drivers I mentioned from Mikolev to Duciem had some mistakes done in the race, so they're going to need to try to rectify it this round here in Autopolis. It's the Autopolis 400, and that should be it for our race preview. So anyways, we're getting this qualifying session finally underway. I'm Masha Reza in the commentary booth, and before we move on to our next qualifying session, we want to give our condolences to the victims in the Noto Peninsula earthquake that has happened earlier in the year, as well as the Japan Airlines Haneda Airport disaster, and all of the disasters that come in between. But that in a way, let's just hope that we have some good racing to try to at least heal some damages done. So, anyways, I'm Mama Shadi Reza, and alongside me is Z Grimbley in the commentary booth. And Z, we're gonna get this qualifying session underway here in Autopolis. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, did we nerf the Lexus enough, this time, or are they still gonna get, like, first place even though they've received all these nerfs and yet they still dominate? It's crazy.
Well, after we've seen the Lexus domination in 2023, after we've got like enough information, sufficient information, we are trying our best to basically try to level the playing field, and hopefully with what we're seeing here in Autopolis with the recent changes, for now we're focusing on tire changes in for the Lexus cars, and without it away, we're gonna be seeing the effects of these new tires to these Lexus machinery soon, as we're now going to be seeing the first few cars on track. That's Dan Evans alongside newcomer Takeda Adachi. Excuse me while we try to reset this again. Okay. So, I just wanted to give a bit of a preview again. Z has mentioned that we have had some changes to these Lexus cars, and Z has been asking the big questions. Will we see some changes to the running order? Yes, we will hope to see some changes in the running order based on the simulations and tests that we have run. We have been seeing some positive outlooks when it comes to basically the Hololive GT3 shakeup. We're seeing Nissans and Hondas on the top spots of the session, so hopefully we're able to see a Nissan on the pole position for the first time in a while. Now, obviously, we have seen Nissans performing in certain tracks like Bororam in the previous season, but now we want to make sure that the Nissans can perform in as many tracks as possible. So hopefully we're able to see it again, as we're about to get this qualifying session back underway after a slight pause to basically fix the naming. So yeah, that should be answering your question, Z.
Well, we're already off to a not so good start with only one reset so far. I wonder if that's foreshadowing something, but hey.
Anyways, we're getting this qualifying session back underway, and fortunately we have managed to get the names fixed once again. So we are now finally being able to get this qualifying session back underway. First car on track should be Richie Rod in the number 22. So yeah, you can see here Richie Rod, Sean Pauly, and Fabio Mendes, first three cars out on track. The weather has been pretty moody, to say the least now, Z.
Especially where I live, I had to walk home today. It was cold and chilly and depressing and all of that, so I'm sure that shouldn't get our stalwart drivers stew down, though. They've got a race to win.
So, and also we have the siblings, Shadin Reza and Shakib Reza. Both of them are in contrasting ends of the table. Shadin Reza obviously in 11th, and Shakib Reza currently down around 29th and 30th. Now, the story for Shakib Reza in the previous round at Sportsline Sugo is that he actually spun out in the earlier stages, but manages to continue. Obviously, he's lost a lot of spots, but he's managed to basically continue where other drivers crashed out. So Shakib Reza was able to consolidate at least a top 30 finish to at least still be in the hunt for the Suyo Cup. But for other drivers, like let's say Crystal Salman, who have actually crashed out in the Sportsline Sugo race, Salman aims to try to basically undo his damages done in the last round last week.
Although it might be, well, I wouldn't say too late, but we already have not a stalwart point position, but we already have basically a guideline to go off of, so you are really going to have to push yourself if you did kind of crummy in the first round.
Okay, so and then looking into other drivers who have been doing pretty well, the top 8 in the standings that we have mentioned earlier in this stream. We are talking about, of course, Rem Olgor, Callum Gibbons, and Kaminer Riba. While they could technically ease off a bit, as they have, they're not exact, they're currently having a good cushion. But I believe to them, it's not really an excuse for them to basically take it easy.
Oh, definitely not. The slightest lapse in concentration can result in a lot of calamities to happen, so you need your eyes on the road at all times, and especially in this racing format, you really gotta keep a keen eye on opportunities and risks and all that.
So anyways, good word from Z as we now get into Crystal Salaman's on board. Of course, you need to get a good exit off of the final 2 corners on that main straight for you to get a good run into turn 1. And now you can see here passing turn 2 and coming into the squiggly parts of sector 1, turn 3, and then coming into turn 4. Just wanted to carry as much speed as possible there. And then coming into the hairpin, first hairpin, turn 6. 27.436 for Crystal Salaman. That's a pretty decent time for him to go by, as he still has 2 sectors to deal with. We have a long corner that is called 100R, that's turn 8, and then a flat out section at turn 9. Coming into the off-camera corner in turn 10, very tricky to handle. Brake at around just past the 100-meter board and then try to really hook yourself into that off-camera corner turn 10, and then there's a downhill back straight. Coming into turn 11, it's a roller coaster straight. One part of the explanation is why is because it's downhill. You're very fast coming into it. 107.558 for Salaman in the second sector. Turn 12, coming into turn 13, and then we have a double apex turn 14. This one is basically 2 corners in one. And then turn 15, left-handed under the bridge. Turn 16, hang around in 3rd gear, and then coming into the turn 17, the final 2 corners here, 17, 18, and maybe 19 if you want to count yourself right. So anyways, Crystal Salaman has a pretty decent exit off of that final corner for that long main stretch, front stretch, and that should be a good lap for provisional pole. Crystal Salaman 147.090 is, I think, has stretched his legs enough to show that he's got pace in this number 12 ASCII Honda.
Well, this really is a rags to riches story, huh? Well, again, provisional pole, and second place is maybe a tenth of a second away, so it's not too big of a lead, but it's definitely a lead.
And speaking of leads, it's been broken. Alex Grant has officially grabbed a provisional pole for that Yukana Lamy Honda at 146.997. Hofu me out of nowhere, 146.792. It's provisional pole for the Nissan driver.
Oh man, well, it's nice to see the Nissans on the front instead of the Lexus dominating and steamrolling through everything. Although it does seem that the Lexus might be struggling a little. The top Lexus is Ricci in 8th place, but they're not doing terrible.
They're not doing terrible relatively, as they're still basically about half a second behind Hofumi so far. So I just want to show you that the balance of performance is somewhat working, but there will be adjustments throughout. And speaking of which, Richie Rod, who did finish second, or who finished second in the last race on Autopolis, is now currently in pole position, just beating Hofumi. And as it stands, with a Nissan front row, the Nissans can dictate the race with the first 2 spots occupied and the first row occupied. And as you can see here, more drivers coming in to finish their laps. We have a lot of Hondas from 3rd to 8th, 6 Hondas from rows 2 to 4.
Well, it was going to be basically a Honda lockout at the start of the race, although the Nissans really did come out of nowhere for the most part, which is pretty impressive to say, seeing as they've been struggling for honestly the past forever.
Well, we have to go back to 2022, back when the Nissans had finally reached the highest of success with Hofumi winning the Hololive GT3 Japan Series in 2022. And then 2023 just feels like a down season, especially given how a lot of the Nissans underperformed and they had to require the assistance of stalwart drivers with, huge amounts of experiences in their background, talking about Hofumi and Richie Rod already competing in their third season in Hololive GT3, as well as other drivers like, for example, Antanara, who is currently in his second season in that Nissan over there. Obviously, they have some experienced faces around, but will it be enough? As you can see here. But for now, we have 3 Nissans currently inside the top 10, with the other 10 spots inside the top 10 occupied by Hondas. The first Lexus is actually now in 15th place. Johan Sinful in 15th.
Well, I mean, you can be a very, very skilled individual, but I mean, if someone has something that's just, downright better in some or most circumstances, that can kind of, negate that experience advantage, which is something that should go without saying. But
anyways, looking into the current order right now, Kizaru Leo has been struggling a good amount there. Currently, now for Kizaru Leo's chances to make it into the Suyo, he may have had a good break there on the first round at Sugo, especially with a lot of drivers in front crashing. But Kizaru Leo is, I think, currently having this mid-table-ish performance so far. You can see here. Obviously, if you want to talk about Talent's involvement with the original Idol uniforms, which these cars' liveries are based off, Shion has not been pretty committed to the original uniforms, rather committing themselves to the bright uniforms instead. So if you see a driver not performing as well in the Hololive GT3, they might be able to perform quite well in Formula Hololive, given how in 2024 it is hugely predicted that Formula Hololive would be far more competitive.
But me personally, I like to remember my roots. I'm more of a Holo GT3. I was there almost at the beginning, almost like a couple months apart, but I was almost at the beginning.
Which is safe to say that a lot of us here watching these streams have been pretty excited about the chances in Hololive GT3. I believe Z, you are not alone on this sentiment. We have seen a lot of people who have been quite excited in this Hololive GT3 deal and all that stuff. Everyone's just excited to be part in the whole racing deal. Some of us have been there since the start of 2022, and it's nice to see. Meanwhile, we have another change on the top of the standings. Tyler Williams, 146.849. Tyler Williams is showing his skills on the day Amane Kanata is about to perform in her own 4th anniversary live. Tyler Williams is showing up.
Well, that is nice for the angel that I was gonna say devil. No, she's just an angel, but that is besides the point. They are actively in 3rd place, making this a Nissan lockout for the podium at the moment.
And speaking of which, we have Mick Coronet 4th and 5th. They're gonna have a renewed battle for the 4th position, especially for Mikolev and Pauly. Looking into the rest of the field, Salman and Shadrin Reza are now down in 10th and 12th. Ali Fartoyo is also showing up quite well after his mishap in the first race. He is now currently in 7th in that number 9 Minato Aqua Nissan. We are currently less than 5 minutes away from ending this qualifying session. Also, Aki Tanaka and Ed Sky also doing quite well there in 15th and 16th.
It should be noted that the highest placed Lexus so far is in 17th place. Callum Gibbons, usually a very, very strong contender within the Holo GT3 and Formula Hololive. But it seems that they are struggling. They're in the middle of the pack at the moment. So I'd like to see what's kind of going on,
Let's go. Right now, we are looking into experimenting the balance of performance for these Lexus cars. There are ballasts on all of the Lexus cars to try to reel in performance. We will be adjusting on a per race basis to give everyone an equal chance of competing. Now, previously it was a Lexus dominant at Sportsline Sugo. And hopefully with this basically adjustment, the Nissans will have a good chance of trying to secure their first win of 2024 and the 2024 season.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. Potentially, this is only the second round though, and there are many more tracks to go to, many more, which definitely will probably benefit either of the two sides very well, as most tracks do. But it's still very early and young in the season, so I'd love to see, how this goes.
And speaking of which, we're going to be taking a look into Richie Rod just trying to clear at Sky very quickly. Of course, Richie Rod already has that pole position. Obviously, Richie Rod is just one of these drivers. No poles, no wins, but at the end of the day, they've managed to win a single championship. Richie Rod actually is also on that list alongside Fawaz Mori, if you remember, the Hoshinova Muna driver. And Richie Rod goes very aggressive out wide, and makes contact with Sean Pauli. Oh my. Okay, there was a bit of an accident.
This is just the qualifying. It's not that deep.
Well, it's not that deep, but at least Richie Rod is still in that provisional pole position. The scenes, if somehow there's a driver faster than Richie Rod suddenly occupying that pole position spot, and that would be a massive salt on the wound. But yeah, back onto our topic here in regards to Richie Rod and Fawaz Mori. Both of them have managed to win their own respective championships while not winning a single race, which is funny to hear, though.
I mean, consistency over quality, I guess. I don't know. I guess quality over quantity. I don't even know what.
Okay, but here's the thing. If you talk about their average finishes, dictate that they absolutely deserve this championship. And for Richie Rod in the postseason, if you want to know his average finish in the postseason, I believe his average finish was the third. His average finish in the postseason was third. Sure, he failed to win a race, but he's had a very consistent postseason. I mean, he finished in the podium 3 times out of 4 in the postseason and all that stuff. Same goes for what Fawaz Mori and his predecessor had done. So, hats off to them. I believe they deserve to be champions in their own right.
I mean, as a hardcore Stucorn, I am very biased against Richie Rod and the Kami Suzuki car, as I generally favorite them more. But I must say that is very, very impressive, especially because, like Fawaz Mori, they didn't win a single race, and yet their consistency and dedication led them to cross in with that gold trophy.
Anyways, we're gonna take a look into the last few laps of certain drivers. We're gonna be taking a look into Jeff Rohan, still in that top 20 spot. Currently, Jeff Rohan hasn't had an improvement because he was stuck behind Michael Turner. Michael Turner has already peeled into the pits. That should be his qualifying session done. Jeff Rohan is going to try to complete his one last qualifying lap to see where his fate lies on whether or not he can bounce into the top 10.
It is very up to the dice for the most part. Well, not the dice, but rather the skill. And so far, it doesn't look like they're going to be improving on their score very much, but there is still a chance. Final lap waiting for about 25 cars.
And right now, Jeff Rohan coming into one of the hairpin corners here. You can see here the off-camber corner, which basically will push your car's handling to the limit. Coming into the roller coaster straight. Jeff Rohan knows he can improve somewhere, and coming into the second to timing beam right around here, he's gonna need to take it easy into that corner. He's 5/10 behind, and as it stands, Jeff Rohan isn't going to improve.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It doesn't look like there's going to be very much improvement for Jeff Rohan, which is going to suck, but it is still slightly above the middle of the pack, but there's definitely better.
And anyways, we're gonna also take a look. Daniel Barger qualifying in 7th place for Hoshimachi Suisei against the run of play. And then looking into Rustim Kurashio in his first Hololive GT3 race, qualifying inside the top 10. Maverick Duciems is gonna bounce back to qualify 14th at this rate. And looking at Jeff Rohan crossing the line, he is not going to improve.
And and you can see if you look at the gaps around that there are times that are literally like less than 100th of a second faster than their predecessors. So like it is a very tight track, very tight time.
So you can see here it's a very tight qualifying session, and in the end we have a pole sitter, and his name is Richie Rod. Congratulations to Richie Rod for securing a well-earned pole position for him. So let's get on board to the starting lineup here for the Autopolis 400. And as you can see, Richie Rod currently occupies the pole position spot in the number 22 Shirakami Fubuki Nissan, alongside Hofu Mi, the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series champion, in second place. Tyler Williams in his best qualifying position yet. He qualifies third on Amane Kanata's anniversary live date. Obviously, she's going to be streaming in about 6 to 7 hours, so watch out for Kanata performing tonight. And then we have Sean Pauly, fastest Honda NSX. He qualifies 4th in the number 56 Inugami Korone Honda. Sakaru Miko qualifies 5th with Isakaji Mikola behind the wheel. Sheldon Reza qualifying in 6th place. It's a good sight for the Lunites watching. Obviously, Sheldon has mentioned that he wants to focus on Hololive GT3. That's why he wants to try to push as much as he can. Daniel Barger, 7th place in the Hoshimachi Suisei car, alongside Alex Grant, 8th for Yukihana Lamy. And then we have Ali Fatoyo and Rustim Crasio in 9th and 10th, representing Minato Aqua and La Plaza respectively. Crasio in his debut have qualified 10th. He's going to aim for his first top 10 finish in his debut. Danilo Goyena, car 11th in Usada Pecora number 11, and Crystal Salman in the ASCII number 12, How Poetic in that 6th row. Jake Goodwin 13th for Okami Mio, alongside Maverick DCM 14th. That's Okami Mio and Omar Polka. And then Jeff Rohan starts alongside Callum Gibbons. Gibbons fastest Lexus in the field right now. The Lexus has been struggling this race so far. Tokoyami Toa and Callum Gibbons, Roboco alongside. Ed Sky for Kazumari Roha alongside Aki Tanaka with Shiranui Flair for 17th and 18th. Rem Olgo, the incumbent race winner, starts 19th for Subaru alongside 20th Lorenzo Ricci for Hosha Marine. Dan Evans 21st for Takani Louis alongside Ari Nakamura, 22nd for Akai Hato. Johan Sinful 23rd for Natsuhiro Matsuri alongside Alto Santana, around 24th for Nekomata Okayu. Then we have Ri Liu and Keiko Takaboshi lining up alongside each other, Sakamoto Kuli and Tsunamaki Watame in 25th and 26th. Plaza Damashev and Raja Kaczynski, Akiro Toto and Yuki Choko, they both got top 5 finishes last round. Now they're going to start at the tail end of the field at this rate. And then alongside Kaminari Reba, who finished 4th, who will start 29th for Shishiro Botan. Momosaki Reza starts 30th for Momosuzu Nene, and as you can see here, both of them are at the back of the field. Shaki Reza is going to try to at least mount a charge. Michael Turner starts 31st for Shinigami Noel, and then we have Mama Cashew 32nd for Yuzura Mel. 33rd goes to Fabio Mendes for Hakui Koyori, alongside Murasaki Shion's Kizaru Leo in 34th. And rounding out the field, we have Jeff Clark representing Nakiri Ayame in that last place spot. So Z, before we start this racing here in Autopolis, I want to hear your thoughts.
My thoughts, it seems definitely that the Lexus might have been nerfed a little too much, so we might have to tweak that next race. With that also, we do have quite the leaderboard shuffle from what I could envision from this race, judging just by the polls and qualifying. There are, however, a few people that are clearly still struggling, such as Shiki Fredza, and that's just about it. Everything else is up to the drivers.
Okay, with that out of the way, we're gonna get this racing here in Autopolis finally underway. The Autopolis 400 is just about getting started, and the ones on pole position right now is Richie Rod. Hofumi is alongside him in second. 45 laps of racing action in Autopolis is about to get underway here in the Autopolis 400 race, and the race gets underway. And as you can see here, Richie Rod having a pretty decent launch here, and now you can see here Tyler Williams actually up to the task here, trying to attack. Hofumi has had a very poor start. Sean Paul is actually not far behind. We're gonna go about this free camera and see if there's contact. There's contact between DCM and Jake Goodwin at the start. And meanwhile, as every other driver just tries to survive this start of this race. And now you can see here, Hofumi now, I think, has taken the lead away from Richie Rod. And as you can see here from the outside shots, as Richie Rod got shuffled away from the race lead, Hofumi now leads Sean Pauli with an amazing start. He's now up in second place. Richie Rod third, Tyler Williams and Isakaji Mikola trade blows. Sergeant Reza is going to try to defend his position against Alex Grant. And then we also have Rustin Karasio now up to 8th, Barger now in 9th, and Daniel Goyena in 10th.
Currently there's a lot going on. Reza Grant trading blows, a bunch of stuff happening in the middle that I'm not even going to bother because there's just so much going on. Fumi somehow, I don't know how they managed to get the first, but I guess number one is number one. Reza and Grant still trading blows, and Duciem and Goyena are, I'm not saying trading blows. Alright.
So anyways, we've seen a lot of drivers actually straddling onto the curbs, riding the curbs. As you can see there, Alex Grant trying to ride the curbs to at least stay ahead of Rustim Karasio. Oh, you can see here, Karasio gets pushed off wide. Oh, they make contact between the two. And after being pushed off wide, Alex Grant gets shuffled off by Rustim Karasio, who actually door slammed. Oh, and you can see here, Daniel Barger with another spin. But manages to stay on the track.
There might be too much going on at once. We have a bit of a pile-up, which is definitely going to influence the standings at least a little bit. Barker barely holding on.
And that's going to cause a lot of beehive of a position here. Now you can see Callan Gibbons trying to make a pass on Daniel Barger here. Everyone's just going to try to frantically move past these two drivers. You can see here Callan Gibbons and Daniel Barger going side by side. There's a 3-wide battle between Etsukai and Tanaka. Rim Olgor was on that 3-wide action there, but manages to survive.
It is astonishing that his car is still even running. We're gonna have to see that.
Oh, it is a slam!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, you can see here there was a massive slam there between Callum Gibbons and Daniel Barger there. Not much space has been given, and that looks to me that should be Callum Gibbons' first retirement since the 2022 season finale.
Oh, wait, Tanaru is gone too, I guess. So far, it is not looking like a very safe race.
But Cal Gibbons manages to continue, but again here in Autopolis, fate deals a bad hand to the currently defending champion of Hololive GT3. A frantic first lap that saw spins everywhere, racing action left, right, and center. And also a bunching up of the field that is going to be guaranteeing some crazy actions coming up. We now get to see we have Alex Grant also now a lap down for some reason after something has happened. We're going to be taking a look into Shakif Reza and Aldersar Tanarao after this race. But for now, the defending champion is now almost out of the equation.
Well, this is definitely something I didn't really predict, and I'm sure I don't think anyone predicted it. I think 35 cars might be a little too much for this track.
But I think it's still enough. We've seen times where it's all okay for now, but this is just not the day. Of course, it's a gloomy day here in Autopolis, and of course we've seen accidents left, right, and center. But right now we have 33 cars still out on track. Alex Grant almost a lap down out of everyone else here. We're gonna need to take a look into where these drivers end up after this race is over. But for now, we're looking at Hofumi actually securing a 2-second lead over Sean Pauli.
Speaking of leads, Jeff Owen in 9th place, by the way, which is pretty impressive. They jumped up quite a bit. 8.5 seconds away from Goyena right now, which means there's basically 2 splits going on in this race, with that being the people in the front and everyone else.
And that's mainly because what happened to Daniel Barger and Callum Gibbons there at the exit before the final 2 corners there that basically bunched up the entire field. Meanwhile, we have Kizohara Leo and now side by side with Ri Liu for position there. Kizohara Leo actually started 34th and is now looking to get up into 26th place. Kizahara Liu versus Ray Liu, both Malaysians trying to battle it out at this awkward off-camera corner here, almost a door slam between Ray Liu and Kizahara Liu, and I believe Alex Grant has sustained a decent amount of damage in his car after contact with Rustim Karashio. But if you want to ask me myself, well, I have to say that the blame has to be given to Alex Grant. I believe he didn't give too much space to Rustim there when they were battling right here in this corner. But obviously, and Karashio had nowhere to go, had no way to stop the car, and Karashio just landed to Alex Grant. But for now, no penalty given to Alex Grant because he got what he basically got, being shuffled off into the void, basically. As Rustim Karashio now sets the fastest lap of this race, a low 147 for him.
As we speak right now, Karashio, 7th place on a debut out of 35 cars is pretty good. It's just really, really good. This rookie is definitely performing up to standard, I believe.
Yeah, as we compare other drivers that are just trying to go by here, we have Aki Tanaka against Ed Sky there. They basically did trade blows at one time, and now Aki Tanaka now up in 16th place for Shiranui Flair. Now looking into the drivers who have crashed out the previous race at Sportsline Sugo, Crystal Salma is doing pretty decently in 14th place. But let's just hope that pit strategies can help get these drivers forward.
Yeah, the pit strategy, especially if someone messes it up, is going to be very, very crucial in this race, especially with how, especially in the qualifying, you saw how like tight the times can be and all of that. So tire wear and obviously fuel is going to play a big, big factor into this race. So we're going to see who does an undercut, who does an overcut, and all of that good stuff.
Anyways, Crystal Salman trying to catch Johan Sinful for 13th place here. As he mentioned there, the strategy in the pit stops has got to be very, very crucial here. We've seen how Isakaji Mikolaev just manages to get up into the front, I believe through pit strategy, with basically the Lexus cars definitely in control. And after Kyle gives a spin, Isakaji Mikolaev managed to inherit the race lead. But for now, we're looking into also the characteristics of Autopolis here. You've seen Autopolis here. They have a lot of high-speed corners here, and that also impacts tire wear. So that is also one thing that should be taken into consideration for all these drivers involved when it comes to thinking about their next move.
Yeah, then with the crappy tires, it's not fun to play with crappy tires. So we're probably gonna see more of a probably an overcut. I'm not sure.
But anyways, just want to give an update to these retired drivers, Shashkif Reza and Altasar Antanarao crashed out on lap 1, and unfortunately, based on their positions there, their chances on qualifying for the Suyo series is going to be very, very slim. If you think it's already slim, it's now slimmer than usual. It's now slim like a piece of paper. So Shakib Reza and Altasar Antanarao just really need to hope that they could deliver in these final 2 rounds if they want to have any shot of qualifying for the Suyo Cup.
Yeah, it might be over. That this is I believe there's 8 races total. If that is so, this is the 1/4 benchmark, and nothing's been done for them. So.
Okay, Z, just a bit of a correction. We have 4 races in the qualifiers, and the next 4 races will be the Suyo and Zako series. So obviously, it's actually even worse for them, actually, for Shakib Reza and Tanaro, because they need at least 2 perfect races in the next races at Okayama and Fuji if they want to at least redeem their season. But for now, it's not working out for them. Daniel Barger, who was involved in a massacre kerfuffle between himself and Gibbons, is now down in 15th place, now trying to attack his fellow Gen Zero teammate.
Yeah, you can clearly see that they are really trying to gun them down, and Barger obviously trying to at least reclaim some of their former pride after kind of almost getting not disqualified, but the DNFs.
So anyways, we also have drivers somewhat getting closer. We have DuCM trying to hound on Ali Fartoyo. DuCM also had that unfortunate incident happening in that pit lane where he overstepped on pit exit, and basically spun his car inside the pit lane. A bit embarrassing. Meanwhile, we have Dan Evans and Raja Kaczynski trading blows for the, basically 22nd here. Now looking back into DCM, who's actually gone a bit far back against Alifar Toyo. Now DCM's dropped down in outside the top 10, but let's see if he can attack a bit more.
Looking at the gaps, maybe. All the gaps seem pretty close, right, except for the ones that are very, very far. But all the gaps seem relatively close, so we should see at least a fair amount of fighting.
So anyways, we also have some close battles up at the front. Sean Pauli has not been catching up to Hofumi as of late. And looking at Richie Rod and Isakaji Mikolev, they are currently hounding the rear of the number 56 Inugami Korone Honda. And also Tyler Williams and Mohamed Reza not far behind as well.
Yeah, it's very tight, uncomfortable front row right now. Everyone kind of wants more and more points, and it's, well, everyone does, but especially those three.
And Alifar Toyo comes in for his first pit stop. Hopefully it's not too early for him as he's now coming into the pits. Meanwhile, there's another battle here between Salman and Barger. Here, Salman's going to try to attack back Daniel Barger there for position. Salman dives down the inside. He's got his leg stretched. Daniel Barger gets shuffled off wide. And now you can see Akitanaka is going to try to take another position away from Barger.
That was a very crucial mistake on Barger's part, really getting off wide there, which caused them to lose potentially 2 positions, but they managed to defend relatively decently against their second foe, but they will have to reclaim more positions later on.
And so anyways, we're looking into Callan Gibbons trying to mount a comeback here against Alifar Toyo here. Callan Gibbons, even with that damage, he's still trying to attack with a superiorly fast car. But as it stands, Callan Gibbons now out of the points. And is that actually Callan Gibbons pushing away Alifar Toyo?
That's kind of mean, but it works in Callan Gibbons' favor. Really kind of a diva move, but...
Wow, if you want to talk about this, shades of Dale Earnhardt just moving your opponent away if they don't give you the position. Callan Gibbons is still hunting for at least a few points to try to defend his chances in the Suyo Cup, in the Suyo Series, and meanwhile Hofumi comes into the pits.
Yeah, Callan Gibbons really kind of the definition of a wounded animal right now. Car's all banged up, scratched up, still fighting, only with twice as much ferocity.
Twice as much ferocity as what Z had said. Meanwhile, Kazara Liu and Ri Liu basically trading blows between each other for races now. And now you can see also Reba and Damashev going side by side here for the silver spoon position. The Shishiron card now down in 26th place, not having the best of qualifying sessions here in Autopolis. And now you can see here Vlasa Damashev really on the attack. Fabio Mendes is not far behind. Jeff Clark also coming into the pit.
Yeah, a lot of people are kind of early in
Fumi has a very poor exit there, and he's just trying to get his car out. I think he's stuck. Though what has been a pretty dominant performance has been undone very quickly for Hofumi, as he's now stuck in the grass.
I think some of our drivers may be drunk.
That might be the case, but again, so it looks like we have another retirement on our hands, as Hofumi is basically still stuck in the gravel, and now we're looking at Hofumi teleporting back into the pit lane, and now he's back out on the racetrack again with a wounded car, and now down in 32nd.
This comeback is gonna be crazy. Like, they're gonna make it all the way back to first.
If Hofumi is able to do it, but for now he's got 31 other cars to beat, and also Callan Gibbons is now up to 28th place after his crazy kerfuffle with Daniel Barger on lap 2.
So Callan Gibbons definitely does have the race pace, but like it is a very steep mountain that they have to climb in order to actually make some good points.
And anyways, we're looking into some other drivers that are going to be trying to get themselves forward here. We have Sean Pauli and Richie Rod holding on for this battle for the race lead. Shagan Reza is now inside the top 5 after all this, as well as Tyler Williams. Daniel Barger comes into pit, and right now, let's see how the other Nissans go.
So far it is they're doing pretty decently right now. Most of them are doing very well. You have a couple in the back, couple in the middle, couple in the front. So obviously that there's skill still involved with everything. Lexuses are mostly scattered around in the middle, while Hondas are actually doing very well.
Oh, we have another Nissan spinning around, and I think Daniel Barger, I believe, floored it, and that gave a lot of spin on the rear wheels. Daniel Barger is now stuck again.
Do you think he's getting out again?
I think it mostly revolves around the Nissan drivers, but basically flooring it once they exit the pits, and that causes the rear wheels to spin out, and that basically makes them lose control even in the pit lane.
You know, I think they got too cocky. They saw the Lexus nerf and they were like, this will be easy points, and now they're spinning out. It might...
And right now, Fumi's now down in 31st place, and now we have Tyler Williams coming into pit. One of the earlier Nissans coming into pit as well. We're going to have to pay attention to the other Nissans' advances, see where they end up. And yes, we are looking at confirmation that Daniel Barger is still stuck in the pit lane here.
Yeah, it's not looking good at all for the for Daniel Barger.
And finally, he gets back out, and finally he gets back out, although it's not to the fanfare of everyone. He's now down in 33rd.
This is okay. I think there might be something.
Okay, but at very least Tyler Williams manages to survive. But because Barger and Fumi are so far ahead in the pit lane, there's just not much room for them. But I wouldn't suggest all of these Nissan drivers to just floor their gases, floor their throttles to give their rear tires a bit more temperature, because that's going to cause a lot of trouble.
Well, we've clearly seen that. It is very problematic.
A bit acrobatic and problematic, if I say so myself here. Meanwhile, we have other drivers currently in the field here. Tyler Williams at least is able to keep his car in 20th. Yeah, I believe leads the drivers who have already pitted.
It is potential. Yeah, there is potential that they really make a blitz all the way up to the front row. That they do have contention actually to make podium, I believe, if the top 3 mess up, because I believe they were in like 4th or 5th before. So if they play their cards right.
Oh, and there was a bit of a bump and run between Kamine Reba and Fabio Mendes there at the exit of that tight hairpin there. You saw Fabio Mendes almost being spun out, but fortunately Fabio manages to keep his car pointed in the right direction. Oh, and Fabio Mendes there, oh, going off wide very aggressively there, and that might open the door for Reba to find some space, and that also opens the door for Michael Turner to find a position.
It is very, very weird strategies going into this race. Okay, we have Nissan's flooring the gas, and you have just clumsiness in general.
We have Aki Tanaka coming into the pits. We might see the same song and dance for the Nissan drivers, maybe. The strategy of trying to floor the gas as they exit the pit may not be the most effective here. As you can see here, Aki Tanaka.
I think they have control. Yeah, they controlled it. They got it.
So Aki Tanaka manages to get off quite well there, and with an advantage in hand, he now has some pretty fresh and warm rear tires, so that they can try to limit their time lost exiting the pit lane. So for some of the Nissans at the back, that might be at the back of the pit lane, that might be advantages. But for the ones at the front, like Fumi and Daniel Barger, that cost them a good amount of time, because they got stuck.
Yeah, well, it's more, it's just kind of it's basically, if you have no other option, it's just a ultimatum.
And right now we're looking into the situation here currently at the front of the field here. Sean Pauli still leads this race, and if I'm not mistaken, he's not led a race since 2022. I believe that was when it was the Fuji Summer Race. So obviously we have Sean Pauli, and now you can see Daniel Goyena and Mama Sheldon Reza battling out in the background there, and now Goyena manages to push himself into the top 5.
And speaking of pushing, okay, that was Michael Turner went off a little wide right there, but yeah, Ben and Rilla we're fighting for a little bit. So.
And also we have Christoph Salman coming into the pits in that number 12 ASCII Honda. And let's see where the Honda and Nissan's strategies come by. And now we're looking at Tyler Williams. They're finally coming into the main straight here. So, of course, Tyler Williams being somewhat ahead. And now Salman coming out. Gets beaten by Ali Fartoyo. Callum Gibbons actually not far behind because of Salman versus Callum Gibbons there. Oh, that was quite close there. But remember, Callum Gibbons have yet to pit as well. So Salman might have a race still to go.
Potentially, yeah, they do have that racing potential and fresher tires and all of that. So, and especially if they field well enough, maybe they'll that was the only pit that they have to do. But again, people who have pitted really early into this race, which does make me a little concerned on their fuel. But if they got it, they got it.
So anyways, the battle for the race lead is heating up. Look at Sean Pauli, Richie Rod, and Isakaji Mikkola. The gaps drop down to under a second for all these drivers. Now Rustam Karashio is going to come into the pit. Danilo Goyana had to back off just a bit. And Shadid Reza also comes in.
A lot of people in the front are pitting right now, which is pretty refreshing to see. More leaderboard shuffles and all of that. Although with them pitting early, I'm assuming they're going to try to go through all the mid-pack fairly quickly in order to regain lost time.
And right now we're looking at Tyler Williams. They're coming into the final set of corners here. Into, I believe, turn 16 and around 17, 18, and maybe all that stuff. Here comes Tyler Williams in that final set of corners here. Sheldon Reza is actually battling Tyler Williams, specifically his own Gen 4 teammate, and Sheldon Reza manages to use that overcut strategy to good effect, and now Sheldon Reza has actually a good gap on Tyler Williams there. So the undercut strategy may not work as intended. It's actually the overcut strategy that's working. And meanwhile, it's a Gaiji Mikkola and Richie Rod battle.
It is a very combatant-based race, I guess. A lot of battles just happening kind of left and right. If you look at the chart on the left, we have greens and reds and all that. And a lot of just pandemonium. It does seem that Rod and Mikolev are still fighting, and it is looking really, really bad for both of them. But Rod did manage to get ahead somehow.
And how did Mikolev survive that? I mean, Mikolev was very aggressive on that dive bomb on that end of Sector 2 and manages to actually get his car still pointing in the right direction despite losing the control, making a bit of contact with Richie Rod. You can see it does damage on Richie Rod's left side.
Yeah, and with that, Mikolev lost the position they were in, going down to 4th place. Goyena taking the podium, the 3rd podium spot.
And looking into where the undercut and overcut strategies are going, remember, Autopolis right now is quite cold. As you can see, we're racing quite deep into the winter season. And as you can see here, Sheldon Reza manages to get ahead of Tyler Williams. It's a good comparison of position on how the undercut and overcut strategies go. Tyler Williams went for the undercut strategy. Sheldon Reza went for the overcut, and the overcut strategy won in the end, and the gap was around 3 to 4 seconds. And part of it, a reason why the overcut strategy is working is because when you exit the pits, the tires are basically quite cold, and you need some time to warm up your tires. In a warm racetrack, the undercut strategy is preferred because you can warm up your tires faster. But right now, Autopolis is cold, and because of that, the tire warm-up is slower. And when you exit the pits on your out lap, that's going to cost you a good amount of time on track. And that's why you see Shazan Reza actually beat Tyler Williams there.
That's also another reason why the Nissans have been flooring it when they get out of the pits, because they really want to get those tires just warmed up super quickly so they can really regain all that lost time that they spent in the pits.
Oh, and as you can see here, Raja Kaczynski trying to attack Rustim Karashio very well there, and that he did well. Fumi coming into pit again. I'm not sure if this is a second strategy or not, or whether or not he has basically miscalculated his fuel loads.
It might be a little bit of both. I'm not even sure.
Oh, here's the problem. Well, and as you can see here, yup, that's a mistake again.
He fell for it twice.
And now Sean Pauli trying to get his car out. Sean Pauli has no problems in that Honda.
That was good. Yay, we made it. Is that a DNF or?
We'll have to wait and see, because I don't think Hofumi is continuing. We're gonna need to check on Hofumi later on whether or not Hofumi is classified as a DNF. But another update here: Sean Pauli has exited in around 6th place, so the overcut strategy working very well there. And now you can see Irie Nakamura beating Sean Pauli because Sean Pauli's tires aren't warmed up just yet. Really also coming into the pits as well.
Yeah, it's a very, the pits are kind of pretty active actually. I think around 2/3 of people have pitted so far, which is quite a lot for this early in the race.
Meanwhile, we have Raja Kaczynski and Mohamed Kachi going side by side, toe to toe between each other. Kaczynski is gonna try to attack for more positions here, and that he is doing it right now. Obviously, Yuzuki Choko being one hell of talent that she is, she's just really pushing forward to get smiles on their face, and of course Raja Kaczynski is on that receiving end. Now meanwhile, Raja Kaczynski is going to try to return the favor for Choko and try to attack Mohamed Kashu.
Which it does look to be a no-go at the moment. But the possibility is definitely still in the air, and in the air that is a terrible transition. Anyway, Kuroshio is trying to attack Muraj and Kaczynski at the moment, really trying to find an opportune moment to strike at about half a second away.
Yes, that's right. Each other once again. Yusonda and Evans are really pitting, and now they're gonna battle between each other once again. A Holux battle in the making, and now you can see here really having a pretty decent exit at the roller coaster corner, having some help from the slipstream from Fabio Mendes. They're both gonna go around this corner with ease, but that will also mean that really goes off wide, and that will mean an easy position for Dan Evans. Meanwhile, Kizora Leo and Damashev also get into a battle.
Speaking of battle, Kizaharu Leo started in what, like 34th place or something, 34th, 33rd, somewhere around that. They're up to 15th, almost 14th now. So that is definitely something that is impressive by ARO standards.
Anyways, Kizara Leo continuing his massive charge from on top of the field. He doesn't care if Shion doesn't want to use the original uniforms as much. He doesn't care if Shion is preferring the bright uniforms. Kizohara Leo says Murasaki Shion is Murasaki Shion, and that is why he's attacking regardless of car. And of course, being a Shioko that he is, he's trying to channel that Sogaki energy in him to try to attack as much as possible.
What a brat. Anyway, it does seem that Leo is on the defense for right now, at least. So we'll be waiting for his their next charge soon.
And looking at Tyler Williams, Tyler Williams is also pretty decently quick as well. He's looking to find an opportunity against Kizara Leo, that Tyler Williams trying to attack. We're currently 16 laps complete, and now Shadon Reza is gonna try to clear Kiko Takaboshi. Of course, Takaboshi has been pretty slow as of late. Let's see where Shadon Reza can bring this Luna Honda to.
like the end of the track. And speaking of the end of the track, this is a terrible transition. Kizaharu Leo is entering the pits as we speak, and going in at around 15th place.
And unfortunately for Daniel for hopeful me, he has officially retired from this race. 2 times unlucky for him. Meanwhile, we also have Michael Turner and actually no, Kaminari Reba battling with Tyler Williams there. Tyler Williams trying to move up the ranks as much as possible. He's now in 16th place. And now there's still Michael Turner and Vlad Damashkin to get himself back in contention with his Gen 4 teammate. Meanwhile, I also want to take a look into Jeff Rohan, though, who's currently in 4th place. Good stuff there for Nukenzoku, who have actually seen the Toa cars absolutely underperforming in 2023. This is a nice sight to see.
It is, actually, and being honest, the podium, at least for now, looks nothing like, well, Rod is still on the podium, but the front row seats, for the most part, look completely different than they did when we first started the race, which is definitely something that's very interesting.
Anyways, Jeff Rohan gunning for that final podium position, at least in that 4th place position. Meanwhile, Raji Kaczynski also getting close there to Mohamed Kashi, but not before. We have Rustim Karashio also not far behind. Rustim Karashio, as we mentioned in his Hololive GT3 debut, is doing very well there for Lapless Darkness. Obviously trying to continue the work that Takeda Adachi and his predecessors had done, and now coming into the main straight where the Nissans can really stretch their legs. This is where they find themselves with the most advantage. Their VR38 EDTT engines having the most amounts of horsepower out of any car possible. And speaking of, we also have Vlasa Damashan passing Shadin Reza, but not before Shadin Reza is going to try to fight back.
It does seem that Reza does have the slight advantage because they came off a straight and they're a Honda over, you know, a Lexus, and it does seem that they're using it at least somewhat, but it's not gonna happen. Kamashita did manage to defend quite well.
But right now, Sadareza, for him, he might not need to worry so far because right now it's quite early in the season, and as it stands, he's currently in a spot at the Suyo series. If he wants to deliver, he might want to deliver and in the Suyo portion of the schedule. And right now, speaking of pushing, we have Kaczynski and Cashew. Remember, a lot of these drivers have yet to pit. Remember, the Moshnev have yet to pit, if I'm not mistaken. And meanwhile, we are looking at this battle between Chocomel right now.
Yeah, that, and, well, yeah, basically Chocomel. But it seems that these two lovers have turned into rivals on the racetrack, with Mel getting the short end of the stick, and Reggie Kaczynski in the Choco car managed to maintain 9th place.
Meanwhile, we have both Peko Miko cars in the pit lane right now. Both the number 35 and 11 coming into the pits. This would mean that Jeff Rohan now inherits 2nd place. It's the highest he's run in an ARO race so far. And Danilo Goyena actually beats Sakaji Mikolev.
Ooh, that is... And then Nakamura, I believe, is going to beat Miko, maybe?
Yeah, she's in the pits.
It's all up into the air right now.
Yes, and it's Sakaji Mikolev with a very long pit stop. That's not gonna do him any favors right now. And now you can see Mikolev now right under the hot on the heels ahead of Sheldon and Reza and Michael Turner and Kaminari Reba. There's gonna be another beehive of racing action coming up, and as you can see, Sheldon Reza has to defend against Michael Turner, who has to defend against Kaminari Reba. It's a switchback move. Oh, and you can see here Michael Turner gets shuffled off a bit wide here, and you can see him make like a shuffle off wide. Reza is now up into 11th place.
Well, yeah, it's just a giant mesh of cars, and it's beautiful, but like, man, it just really slows everyone down with all the defending you have to do and all the attacking you have to do.
And speaking of which, Olgor needs to attack on Mohamed Cashew right now, and now both of them trying to exit the very tricky off-camber corner coming into the roller coaster straight. Both of them going side by side. Will Olgo try to hang it around the outside? Will he be able to hang it around the outside? Straddles the curves, but just about enough. And as you can see here, both of them trying to attack between each other. Meanwhile, we also have Riba and Mikola trading blows between each other. And it goes on the way of Riba. Oh, and as you can see here, Cashew, gets very close there to Olgor. And look at Rustim Kurashu and Keiko Takaboshi.
Yeah, this is starting to look more and more like a demolition derby every second, with all of the very close calls, and they were basically kissing the spoiler on that thing, so kudos for not hitting it, I guess.
That just shows you how close they are to the limits of for all of these drivers here. Now you can see Keiko Takaboshi on the temporary seat after RSS's departure. Continues RSS's kind of decently good run in that Watame car. Now attacks Rim Olgor for 8th place. And remember, Olgor has yet to pit. Olgor have yet to pit. A lot of these Lexus cars have yet to pit. With the exception of Sean Pauli at the front in 4th place, the top 10 have yet to pit.
It is pretty interesting, which means Sean Pauli does have a net first place on their shoulders right now, and we're just waiting on anyone to pit, really.
Meanwhile, Rustim Kurashu has managed to make the pass on Rim Olgor. Olgor trying to catch Kurashu as much as possible, but Kurashu is just too much for him to handle. And now, the lapless number 39 currently in 9th place. Well, I'm interested to see where Kurashu ends up.
It is definitely interesting to watch the novice work its ways. So far they're doing pretty good. They've been aggressive, they've been a very good defender. They've just been all around jack of all trades.
And just wanted to check around the stats for the rest of the field. Jeff Rohan finally coming into pit. His closest rival has got to be Danilo Goyena, currently in 5th place. Danilo Goyena coming across the final 2 corners. Both Sean Pauli and Danilo Goyena have already pitted. Jeff Rohan comes in to exit. Sean Pauli is going to clear him with ease, as well as Danilo Goyena. It's going to be a Honda dogfight as it stands, with these 3 Hondas currently dictating the play.
And it is to be noted that Richie, which is a Lexus, is in 2nd place, which actually, now that I say this, the Lexuses have definitely shot up a few positions, but to be fair, they have yet to pit yet.
Remember, we haven't known, Kizaru Liu, I believe, has already pitted and is still now up into 26th place. Still a good comeback run, as you can see here. Raja Kaczynski, still with the fresher tires, with the warmer tire, manages to beat Jeff Rohan. Jeff Rohan there almost overstepping the car, just trying to warm that tires up to wherever limits he may find. And now Jeff Rohan just trying to find ways to get himself back into the top 5. But I believe the top 5 is basically guaranteed. But meanwhile, what is also guaranteed is Sakaji Mikolev getting 2nd place there. Nice overtake there from Mikolev.
Well, not guaranteed. Rod has yet to pit, I believe, so that could prove problematic. But if they could definitely get a quick pit stop off because of how big the gap is between them and Richie. And
we're looking at Raja Kaczynski and Alex Grant also being called into the pits as well. Expect them to have their car service at around this portion of this race. And speaking of which, let's take a look into drivers who have yet to pit. Callan Gibbons have also yet to pit. He's going for the extreme overcut strategy as well.
It's interesting to see because a bunch of, especially Richie Rod going with probably an extreme overcut too, so yeah, and all of these different strategies and everything, especially these extreme, oh wait, hold on, what? Wait, Kaczynski?
Yes, Kaczynski is coming into pits.
Okay.
So anyways, we have...
pitted before, my bad.
Yeah, so Raja Kaczynski is now pitting for his first and only stop, hopefully. And right now we have the top 3 as follows. Richie Rod currently in the lead. Lorenzo Ricci 2nd. Sean Pauli 3rd. Danilo Goyena 4th. Jeff Rohan in 5th. Of course, we have drivers who have yet to pit, like Lorenzo Ricci, Cashew, Takaboshi, Kurashu, and Olgor. This would mean that Sheldon Reza will have a spot inside the top 5, and that will further boost his chances of qualifying into the Suyo.
Closers, but what is arguably, I wouldn't say more important, but what is currently eventful is kind of nothing. We're at a bit of a stalemate right now. No pit lane activity or nothing. It's all pretty peaceful.
It's peaceful until we get to the later stages of this race. But meanwhile, we're looking into the middle stages of this race. Halfway, we're about to reach the halfway portion of this race with Richie Rod already completing 22 laps. But now Richie Rod comes into the pits. Let's see where Sean Pauli is.
Sean Pauli is in third right now. Richie is in second, quickly trying to gain on Rod's position, which definitely is possible. It really depends on how fast Rod's pit lane time is, which you can only hope that it's fast or slow. And it looks like it is a decent pit lane at stop right there.
Oh, there's contact between the leaders and Sean Pauli! What? Richie Rod with a good exit and they actually collected Danilo Goyena as well! Oh, Richie Rod thought he had this race under control, and Sean Pauli just steamrolled against Richie Rod. That might not be good. It might. Right now, the investigations have immediately been opened on the incident right now. We'll see if there might be a penalty given to Sean Pauli for causing a collision, and a big one at that, because he actually crashed into the race leader.
They number one in my book though. Like they get the gold trophy in my heart, my fellow Suko, my hardcore Suko.
But remember, Richie Rod has retired from this race after massive contact with Sean Pauli on that pit exit. Another twist in the tail of the Autopolis 400 with Sean Pauli steamrolling against Lorenzo Ricci. Sean Pauli steamrolling against Richie Rod.
Yeah, there's. I'm going on water break. I need some time to calm down.
So anyways, Jeff Rohan currently trying to get in close into Danilo Goyena, who was also involved in that collision on that from that incident there. And now you can see here Jeff Rohan just getting close to Danilo Goyena. Of course, we've mentioned that Danilo Goyena was actually involved in that collision as well. Because Danilo Goyena was trying to avoid the spinning Richie Rod, and now Richie Rod comes into the pits. It's now going to be a retirement, but not for long, as he manages to respawn himself back into the race. And there's another contact between himself and Mohamed Cashew that causes a lot of secondhand damage on the number 22 Nissan. And again, some of these Nissan drivers these days have gone from bad to worse, but at least for Richie Rod, who's now a lap down, he's still inside this race. Just a bit of a how do we say this? A bit of a kerfuffle here. Now we also get to see some drivers switch up positions here. Richie Rod's now down in 31st place, being overtaken by Alex Grant, who is now securing that final points position. So again, we have 5 Nissans currently occupying the bottom 5 positions. So it was supposed to be Nissan's race for the taken, but it has not been to plan. Now you can see here Turner and Ducien battling in the background here. Ducien's got to try to make a move against Michael Turner. Will Ducien manage to hang it around? The answer is going to be... oh, it's going to be close. Ducien pushes Reba off wide. Ducien pushes Michael Turner off wide and manages to continue. That's some hard racing here between the number 08 and the 57. Tyler Williams to spin!
Bro, I'm like Sissy Fist, right? I'm like Sissy Fist. Anyway, Tyler Williams...
oh, there was contact! Tyler Williams makes contact between Gibbons and Salomon as well.
They really just like skirted him off the curb like that, and now they have a very banged up car to say the least. Holy crap.
Oh, yeah, we are not, but we're struggling to believe what we're seeing right now. There's a lot of pandemonium, there's a lot of chaos here in Hololive GT3. There's a bit of a roulette moment here for all of these cars. Remember, Richie Rudd is still in this race. He has managed to teleport himself back into the race. He's now a lap down against other competitors, and now Tyler Williams, who was a favorite to be inside the top 10, basically got himself into a collision course with other drivers, and after spinning out at one of the few last corners in sector 3, he's now down in what should be a net P15.
And the whip back corpse of a car too, it's banged up really bad.
Remember, we also wanted to give a bit of an update. Callum Gibbons have yet to pit. And as for Christoph Salman, he is also already pitted as well. So Callum Gibbons is staying in 14th place for now, but he also has to think about repairing his damaged car. So he might take a good amount of time in the pits. So there's going to be a massive change in the championship standings and the qualifiers. There's going to be a change on who will be in the Zako and who will be in the Suyo.
Definitely, especially with this freaking stupid race in question, with all this just wackiness, you know. There'll definitely be some changes in the podium after this.
Okay, there might be a bit of an investigation going on. Remember, there's an official investigation going on between the incident between Richie Rod and Sean Pauli. Currently looking into Sean Pauli for causing a collision. We've seen times where someone basically disrupts the leader of the race, and it causes them to basically retire. There might be penalties coming on for Sean Pauli. We're hearing murmurs that there might be 30 seconds added on to Sean Pauli's race. For now, that should be a minimum added time for Sean Pauli if this is the case. But for now, Sean Pauli hangs around in second place.
Us Sioux coins demand reparation, but it is rather shocking to see that Sean Pauli could be have such a big killer instinct that they literally caused Richie Rod to almost be an F. I'm surprised he even is still around.
Alright, and as we're currently looking into more of these racing stuff, Rim Olga, remember, has yet to pit and is still just piling on the pressure on Rustim Karasio. Rustim Karasio also, he has actually pitted already, so he's good for the rest of the race. But for Rim Olgor is actually going to need to pit sometime later in the next 2 or 3 laps. So Rim Olgor's time up front is about to come to an end pretty soon.
They had a good run. I'm not complaining.
Anyways, also I want to talk about Lorenzo Ricci, currently up in the lead of this race, but remember, he has yet to pit. Also, the same goes for Cashew as well as Olgor. So basically, the leaderboards will be shuffled into an all Honda podium position.
Whoa! So we had a Nissan lockout when we started, and we're gonna have a Honda lockout when we end this. That's kind of crazy, actually.
Crazy indeed, and if you are a fan of Honda, you can be have more reasons to be excited for. And meanwhile, we're also going to be taking a look into Rim Olgor sometime soon, as he might come into the pits in this lap or two. Anyways, looking into the rest of the field, Kizar Leo now up into 25th place. Remember, he has already served his pit stop, and right now he's doing pretty okay in that 25th spot after starting 34th.
Yep, definitely. No. Yeah, they're just basically trying to hold on, you know, try not to crash or really lose positions and everything, really playing it safe.
And remember, we have 5 Nissans currently in the bottom 5, and then we have 2 Nissans from 20th to 30th, and then we have in the top 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Nissans in the top 20. Now, ideally, we would want to have 6 or 7 Nissans in the top 20 if we want to have the equal representation. But right now, it's not going to plan. Remember, Hofumi, Daniel Barger was up in front. As I think same goes for Antanarov, but they all have crashed out at some points in the race. So obviously, it's not looking good for some of the other drivers who have basically are still continuing in this race, and especially for those who have crashed.
Oh, definitely. There have been several crashes and even more collisions, so we pay our respects to the fallen hunks of now demolished steel.
And right now we also have some drivers who are actually doing pretty well to get themselves back in contention for the Suyo, especially Crystal Salman, who have basically crashed out in the earlier race at Sportsland Sugo. Now Crystal Salman is inside that 14th place spot. Let's see how much further he can go up.
They can go up a few positions if they really push themselves, their car to the limits and all that. But they have basically no pressure from the outside, so they can really focus on their charge.
Okay, and then we're also going to be taking a look into some of the other contenders here. We have Isekai Mikolev against Rustem Karashio for 6th place right now. Remember, we have to also take a look, have to consider Lorenzo Ricci and Mohamed Cashew pitting as well. And right now, we might have a bit of a confirmation. They have yet to decide how much penalty is to be given to Sean Pauli, but there is a guaranteed penalty given to Sean Pauli for causing a collision. Minimum 30 seconds.
That is not good for Sean Pauli whatsoever, as that bumps them down all the way to... I need to do math first. I'll be terrible at math, but I need to do math eventually, and I'm giving a rough estimate of around like 20th place or something.
And remember, 30 seconds is the minimum time penalty, and it might be additive, and there might be added penalties coming on the end, so it might not be actually 30 plus. It might actually be 45 due to the severity of the penalty. Remember, it's in the middle of the race, and he basically took out the race leader once they just came out of the pit. They didn't give him enough room, and there was a lot of room for Sean Pauli to go. And just a bit of a confirmation, 45 seconds confirmed for Sean Pauli. 45 seconds for Sean Pauli for intentionally wrecking out your competitor, your opponent, and more importantly, the race leader. So Sean Pauli is not gonna stay in 2nd place, and as it stands, Daniel Goyena, who is currently provisionally in 3rd place, after Lorenzo Ricci pits and Sean Pauli's time penalty accounted for, Daniel Goyena is going to score the victory here in Autopolis.
The fact that they did that to their own Hololive gamers genmate too is quite cold and sadistic. They basically just wrecked their own blood, so.
Meanwhile, Shazran Reza getting close to Rustem Karashio. Obviously, we have the 6-time race winner in Hololive GT3 against a driver who's just making his debut. This is a great debutante's challenge on whether or not he can actually stave off the challenge made from Shazran Reza.
Yeah, truly, and with how Mauricio is playing right now, it seems that they're doing a relatively, at least decent job at defending, and oh my god, they went off wide. Ribba did anyway, and Ribba definitely is trying to take advantage of that. As you can see here, it's really trying to demolish them on the straight, which they really can't, but they can try.
But anyway, Shazran Reza is gonna try his best to defend. Ribba just has a very good line. Shazran Reza is ruining the mistakes that he has made on that previous sector there, and now he's lost a position against Kaminari Ribba. Shazran thought he could find a space and a gap, but there was not enough space. He went off wide into the grass, and Shazran Reza is paying it dearly, and now Shazran Reza is gonna try to undo the mistake that he had done early in the race. He's gonna go side by side with Ribba.
But it does seem that Ribba just does have the overall advantage, really doing a good job at defending right there. overall just not giving Reza really any wriggle room.
Just going to confirm to you all, Lorenzo Ricci still has about 4 laps tops on his field to go before he'll have to inevitably pit. Southern Reza is going to try to find any avenue of space that he can find to make an move against Kaminari Riba, but right now it's not forthcoming just yet. And just wanted to confirm to you all, Ricci is going to pit in the next 4 laps. Sean Pauli is due to serve his 45-second time penalty after this race, and Danilo Goyena is going to be set to win here in Autopolis, here in the Autopolis 400.
For now, anyway, but speaking, I don't have a transition.
Anyways, looking to Shadid Reza, just gonna try to get close into Kaminari Riba once again. The gaps now are between 5 to 4 tenths, but I don't think Shadid Reza might have anything to say about Riba. But right now, they both are gonna try. They're just gonna stay in position. Meanwhile, Nakamura and Tyler Williams battling side by side. Tyler Williams with an extremely battered number 57, and Irie Nakamura with a somewhat pristine number 81. Let's see where they end up.
So far, basically hugging each other. There's not... I lied, there is a battle now. But it does seem that Nakamura definitely, left, Williams in the dust after they accidentally, took a little bit of curve.
Anyway, another Chocomel battle in the books here. Cashew and Kaczynski battling side by side here. Both Chocomel cars on their toes between each other. In front of them is the lap car of Daniel Barger. And speaking of which, let's take a look into the lap car situations here. Richie Rott now down in 31st. Obviously, the 45-second penalty to Sean Pauli is going to do little to soothe Richie Rott's mood, as obviously he feels like his race has been ruined by some erratic driving, and obviously all the combos watching have to agree on that as well. And but obviously a penalty, we're giving as fair of a penalty as he's giving right now. And right now with Sean Pauli currently in the race lead after taking out his own competitor for the race lead, he's of course going to have to be penalized. That's the best that the race control has to do. And so yeah, let's just hope that these mistakes should not be repeated in the next races.
And if you saw his car, you could see that thing is basically mangled, barely even standing around. You know, like it's actually surprised the engine hasn't given out yet.
And now also let's take a look at Kaminari Riba trying to mount a challenge against Rustem Karasio. Rustem Karasio doing a good amount of defensive work there on that number 39, but messes up on the exit of turn 1. Maybe that's going to open the door for Riba to maybe attack. And that also opens the door for Southern Reza to attack. And also there's Maverick Duciem and Michael Turner behind Southern Reza. So let's see where this battle leads to. We are currently at 31.5 laps here in Autopolis, in the Autopolis 400. Lorenzo Ricci currently still in the lead. And right now we're looking at Danilo Goyena against Sean Pauli.
Yeah, and ultimately it doesn't matter. Goyena really has to worry about Rohan at the moment, because again Sean Pauli has a penalty, so maybe Goyena's best bet is just to play it safe,
because he knows that Sean Pauli has a penalty that he is going to serve. And let's say if he retires this race, he might also be the next penalty might be given to him in the next race if he doesn't finish this race. So obviously right now, Sean Pauli is currently hanging it around in what should be a net race lead. Lorenzo Ricci has yet to come into the pits, but for now, he's looking to attack Jeff Clark, who's going to be the first, who's going to be the next car going to be a lap down. So lap cars are still going to be a thing.
They've always been a thing on this track, being honest, especially if there's many cars and all that, even though we simplified it down to 31, well not 31, but around 32.
Meanwhile,
yeah, would lap oh.
You know, we have Kizara Leo and Dan Evans, but also we have Riba and Karasio basically trading blows between each other. Kaminari Riba doing very well to get himself back up into 6th place. Crusher down in 7th. Now going to be under pressure from Mohammed Shazan Reza once again. Kaminari Riba is due to pit in the next 2 laps. So Kaminari Riba is just trying to maximize his tires as much as he can. So he's going to go ahead and finish very well in the end, maybe getting a top 15 finish. Meanwhile, Tyler Williams and Ed Sky going toe-to-toe.
Yeah, it seems that Tyler Williams finally might gain the position that they lost back, but it doesn't seem that way with Ed Sky really trying his hardest to defend, but it's a lot. Looks almost like a loss.
Meanwhile, they're still side by side. Ed Sky might come out as a winner, but Tyler Williams is still having some of his car alongside. Tyler Williams forcing Ed Sky to give some space, and now you can see here Tyler Williams just trying to find an avenue of space for him to pass Ed Sky, but there's no space anymore. Ed Sky is now into 16th place.
Yeah, pretty sure they already had that, but hey, anyway, Tyler Williams really had it all in, like, the bag and all that, but sadly... Oh, wait, speaking of in the bag, Ricci entering the pits, finally, on lap 34.
Anyways, we're looking into Sean Pauli, currently in the provisional race lead, but that'll be coming undone pretty soon. Remember, he still has a penalty to serve. 45 seconds is to be added to his race time. So he's going to be shuffling down a good amount of positions, maybe outside the top 20, maybe in 15, 16, 17. Remember, he will not come unpunished. Also, Michael Turner coming into the pits. That's going to shuffle a good amount of drivers up into the top 5. And as it stands, Rustim Karashio under pressure from Mohammed Shadrin Reza here. Will Karashio be able to defend Shadrin Reza on merit here? Now Shadrin Reza is going to try to find a little bit of space to go down the inside of Karashio. And Shadrin Reza now coming down on the inside. Manages to almost clear Karashio. Shadrin Reza is going to try to hang around the outside, and then we'll switch down to the inside. Shadrin Reza is now in 6th place. It's going to become a top 5th place after Riba comes into pit.
Yep, and so far it is looking relatively good for Reza, and especially because they actually no, with Riba going into the pits, I don't think Reza can improve.
No, Shadrin Reza has already he's already completed his pit stop cycle. That's the one that needs.
I know he's making.
Yeah, it's Riba. I know Riba is coming into the pits. Don't worry, if you see Michael Turner immediately taking up in a race lead, that's only going to be temporary. Michael Turner is now down in 28th place, and now you can see here, he's now just ahead of Jeff Clark. Remember, the leaders are directly behind him. So watch out for Sean Pauli, Goyena, and Rohan trying to maybe mount a challenge.
They're try to, but then of course there could be a bunch of blockage which could really inconvenience or down like handicap our front row drivers.
And right now we have Jeff Clark currently in 28th, Michael Turner 29th. Sean Pauli is not far behind. Sean Pauli still has a penalty that he needs to deal with, so he needs to try to minimize the damage as much as he can, but let's be fair, the damage he inflicted was actually self-inflicted, so obviously Sean Pauli has some extra work to do.
Maybe it wasn't worth it. Maybe it was for Sean Pauli. Maybe it was all out of spite or whatever, but either way, they're going to be taking that penalty.
Anyways, we have Tyler Williams turning back with the position from Ed Sky. Sean Pauli might find a way to get past Michael Turner, but remember, Michael Turner and Jeff Clark, especially for Jeff Clark and Michael Turner, they have all just recently pitted. So Michael Turner might have some fresher tires than Sean Pauli, and that might actually open the door for Daniel Goyena and Jeff Rohan to win on merit, passing Sean Pauli. But we'll have to wait and see in his next 10 laps.
Yeah, and especially with how crazy this race has been so far, there's definitely a fair chance that there will be something that someone would find unexpected or whatever.
Meanwhile, Sean Pauli trying to find a way past the likes of Michael Turner. And as you can see here, you guys finally see these emergency lights popping up on that number 08 Lexus. That shows you the amount of damage that the Lexus has. Sean Pauli is made aware of the situation, and he might think of being cautious, but remember, he already still has a penalty to have it anyway. But we'll have to wait and see. Goyena and Rohan not far behind in the attack.
Yeah, and I believe that Goyena is slowly inching up over to Pauli. And speaking of slowly inching, people are starting to creep up the leaderboard as Gibbons finally pits on lap 36 of 45.
Well, that will explain everything. Anyway, we're looking at Sean Pauli still unable to clear the lap car of Michael Turner. Watch the gaps between Pauli and Goyena very closely. Callum Gibbons is still serving his pit stop, and it's a pretty long serve, and that will mean that he will be in around 21st place, just behind Fabio Mendes. Of course, he has to clean up his car, get his damage repaired, and obviously there's Callum Gibbons down in 20th place behind Fabio Mendes.
Although it was a good run, that collision they had really knocked most of the wind out of them. But 21st is, well, it is kind of something to scoff at. For someone that managed to crash, it was a pretty good rebound.
Also, we want to take a look into some of the other drivers' fates. Ali Fartoyo needs a top 20 to at least get himself into a bleeding chance to bleed himself into the Suyo series, but right now as it stands, he's going to remain in the Zako series as spots as it stands. So, and then we also want to take a look into other drivers who have crashed in Sugo but managed to have their fortunes turn around. Aki Tanaka now up in 10th place and Salman in 9th.
So yeah, this is definitely a very unexpected race. There were some winners that are still winning this round. There's some winners that definitely did not win whatsoever. We've got underdogs, that went under, basically. And all of that good stuff. Very eventful race.
Anyways, we're looking into the gaps between Pauli and Goyena, now shrunk down to 1.3 seconds there. You see Pauli actually being under pressure from Michael Turner, and also there's Jeff Clark up in front, up ahead on the road, and obviously currently Sean Pauli now still stuck behind the lap traffic of Michael Turner. Now the gaps drop down to 1.3, 1.2 seconds, and now Daniel Goyena has to think about defending his position from Jeff Rohan,
which might be very tough at this point. Rohan has been slowly gaining on Goyena, and as much as Goyena has been slowly creeping up on Pauli, it is still very alarming that Rohan is this close.
The last time the Tokoyami Towa Honda has won a Hololive GT3 race, back in Suzuka Split B Race 2 in 2020, Split A Race 2 in 2022. That was over a year ago when Daniel Bolotev scored his only win for Tokoyami Towa in Hololive GT3. Jeff Rohan might try his fancy to get himself into a winning spot. He's already in line to basically have his best finish in ARO competitions, but he's gonna try to make it all sweeter with this possible win from Daniel Goyena, and it's actually not far off the road because black cars are in front.
And it's just all just coming down to this one giant mush of just basic competition, you know? Because you've got the lap cars blocking Pauli, so they can't really make any more room. And then Goyena is trying to get on, which they are quite rapidly now.
And the gaps drop down.
That's trying to capitalize on all that. Yeah, I saw that, and it went from like 1.4 to 0.7, literally cutting the gap in half.
And meanwhile, we have Airi Nakamura. Despite the odds of Hachama recovering from whatever ailment that she's had, Airi Nakamura is continuing on a good performance to put the Akai Hato number 81 Honda inside the top 10 positions. She scored a top 10 last round at Sugo. She's gonna score a top 10 again here in Autopolis. Talk about gritty determination for the Hatons.
Well, I mean, like, they've definitely grown emotionally resilient over these past months with their lack of their Oshis, so They definitely deserve this. This might be the highlight of their days.
Well, Fatoya gets shuffled down to 26th place, being overtaken by Johan Sinful. Here's the battle that we might be watching here. Battle for the race lead, both on track and after Sean Pauli gets a penalty. 3 Honda drivers currently provisionally in the podium positions. Now, only separated by under a second. Daniel Goyena has a chance to right all, not exactly right all wrongs, but try to finally break through to win a Hololive GT3 race for Usada Pecora. Right now, they're getting very close, and now you can see there's a bit of a battle here between Michael Turner and Jeff Clark. And now you see Jeff Rohan trying to disrupt the party of the Nosagis by making it a party for the Kensoku.
Which is almost worked, actually. And even then, they're still trying really hard. In which Goyena really has to just stop attacking for a second to defend, and it's all just this giant mess. It's a stalemate.
It's a stalemate for now, and also we have Rustim Caraccio having to deal with Maverick Duciem under half a second between these two drivers, as well as Riba and Domashnev. It's a take two for these two drivers, these two battles here. And then we also have Jeff Clark and Michael Turner at the back. And right now you can see, that Sean Paul is going to try to make a move against Michael Turner. Will he make a move down the inside or the outside? No move just yet, but Goyena is definitely keeping tabs.
That might be the end. No, it's not the end. They recovered. That could have been far worse, though, if they spun out of control. Could have resulted in collision, or at like the least severe worst case scenario, causing them to kind of spin out, get back on track, but lose their position.
And right now, Sean Pauli is desperate to try to at least clear these lap cars, but these lap cars are not cooperating as much as they would. And right now, Sean Pauli is still under pressure. Daniel Goyena is getting very close there. 3 tenths now. If it drops down to maybe 2 tenths, Goyena might think of a move down the inside.
It's looking really good. What about now? 5 laps remaining. There is still quite a bit of time right now, but you might want to start finalizing your strategy on how you're going to be taking this high rank down.
Right now, Goyena 5 tenths of a second, half a second behind Sean Pauli. Will Sean Pauli think of a move? The answer is no. Will Goyena think of a move? Yes, he did. But obviously it's a bit too early there. The gap's now dropped down to maybe around 6 tenths of a second between each of these drivers inside the top 3. Well, top 2 if you count Sean Pauli having to consider a 45-second penalty. Daniel Goyena coming into the mix here, trying to attack Sean Pauli. Sean Pauli having the provisional race lead. He might be winning on track, but in terms of race results, he might not keep it. He will not keep it at all. But right now, let's take a look on how Sean Pauli manages to hang it around.
For the most part, I think their strategy is just playing it safe. They don't want to lose more time than they already have. So if an attack results in a loss, they could be shuffled off and lose even more positions on the penalties. So it's actually pretty smart that they're not really attacking just yet, especially with Goyena being a relatively safe distance away.
Goyena's dropped down to 7 tenths of a second. Not much is being shown between these two. Jeff Rohan also in the mix here as well. Sean Pauli getting very close to the lap car. Sky Mamakashi also trading blows between each other. 14th is currently on Mamakashi's side. For Domashnev, he has 18th place covered. Meanwhile, we also want to take a look into Sean Pauli. Sean Pauli, gets held up quite a bit there. You can see here that Goyena actually got somewhat close here. The gap's now in around 7 tenths of a second. Domashnev and Riba trade blows once again. Domashnev is ahead. Now Riba switches back. You can see here. Domashnev defends well against Riba. And you can see here the lap car of Richie Rod not far behind as well. Of course, Richie Rod just trying to lock in as much laps as possible. Duciem's also getting close against the rookie that is Caraccio. Duciem having to attack, go the long way around, but Caraccio manages to defend very well.
Yeah, the 6th place is definitely very decent out of 25. So Overall, it seems that, for the most part, actually, a couple of those that were unknown are actually looking to come back. And speaking of a comeback, Kaczynski managing to go from, I believe, 16th to 15th, if I'm not mistaken.
And also we have Kizura Leo starting 34th now inside inside 23rd now.
Oh, Goyena is getting alarmingly close to Sean Pauly as we speak right now, but really can't seem to keep up a momentum.
And right now we're going to be taking a look into the advancements between each of these drivers. Sean Pauly just trying to find a way past Michael Turner, but Michael Turner has actually been somewhat sluggish off of that final corner, and that might open the door to Danilo Goyena there. Lap 42 is about to begin. 41 laps complete here in the Autopolis 400, and you can see here Michael Turner just giving Sean Pauly a bit of headaches, but remember, he just doesn't want to attack. Right now his mind is on two things: attacking and defending. Even if he has to deal with this penalty, he'll still at least come out with maybe a top 20 finish. He might lose out on this win, but right now he also wants to try to disrupt the situation here. Remember, Jeff Rowan is still close to Goyena.
Yeah, and that is definitely probably why Goyena can't be as consistent as they would be originally, because again, you have to pay attention to both yourself and like focus on your track plans at the same time, and multitasking that is pretty hard, believe it or not.
Yes, it's true. Multitasking can be a difficult matter if it involves too complex things that you need to do. Meanwhile, we're taking a look into Sean Pauly, still managing a pretty healthy gap against himself and Goyena, and Jeff Rohan though still hot on the heels of that number 11 Honda. Mama Cashew getting very close to Tyler Williams there. Mama Cashew goes for a move against Tyler Williams. Tyler Williams gets shuffled off. Will Cashew get the position? The answer is going to be close, but Tyler Williams manages to hang it around the outside, hang around the inside, pushes Mama Cashew around the outside, but it's gonna be to no avail. But is it? Because Tyler Williams might be able to dive bomb. The answer is no. It's Mama Cashew's 13th place. Currently the second best Lexus out on the field. Lorenzo Ricci currently in 12th.
Yeah, and the mid-pack, we haven't really talked a lot about the mid-pack, but there is a lot of action going on over there. We're just kind of too focused up on the main events and everything. It's more of a side story compared to this.
Meanwhile, Daniel Goyena has been very, very close there to Sean Pauly. Michael Turner has just about lost a lot of pace there, and that actually backed up Sean Pauly a lot. And right now, Daniel Goyena is going to try to win this race on merit. Maverick Duciem has made the pass on Rustim Carrascio, but Rustim Carrascio is going to pull one back against Duciem. Again, a stellar defensive move there by the rookie in that number 39 Lapless Darkness Nissan. But looking into Sean Pauly, he might still have this thing under control, but it's all at the mercy of Michael Turner if he can still win this race on track.
And it seems like, yeah, it seems everyone is kind of merciful today, but who's not merciful is kind of Sergeant Kaczynski, as I believe they just declined Tyler Williams of a position, but we kind of missed that fight.
Okay, just wanted to share with you a bit of a backstory. You can see Sean Pauly got shuffled off wide, and that might give the door or leave the door open for Danilo Goyena to make the pass for the race lead. Danilo Goyena isn't going to be content on winning this race after penalties. He's going to try to win this race on merit. He got shuffled off into the curb. Sean Pauly has a bit of a mistake coming into the final two corners. Danilo Goyena makes the pass.
That was full of blunders. That was not clean whatsoever. That was very choppy. But Goyena, at the end of the day, did manage to come out on top. But now they have to deal with the mounting pressure of Sean Pauly, really trying to cut his losses right now, get as much position as possible, and he is going to try to combat this, trying to reclaim their spot, but like, it's really, really close.
But Danilo Goyena is going to try to make the dive ball once again. He knows that Sean Pauly has made some questionable driving over this race here. We're in the penultimate lap of this Autopolis 400. Daniel Goyena is gonna try to fight one back against Sean Pauly. Right now, all the Sukonbus are currently no Usagis, as right now Daniel Goyena is gonna steal this race lead away from Sean Pauly, who stole the race lead away from Richie Rod.
Still going on. It's gone on for like at least half the track at this point, or at least it feels like it. And Rohan is definitely waiting, like the vulture they are, to steal any scraps really, or maybe even do a double dive bomb if he's showing really daring.
And right now, Daniel Goyena might be able to seal this deal on this race lead, but Sean Pauly isn't going to take it lying down. Both the 11 and the 56, both of them representing one of the most popular Hololive members out there. Daniel Goyena is going to hope to win a race for Osada Pecora, to give Osada Pecora her win for the first time in... Oh dear, and just as we say that, Daniel Goyena choked it on the penultimate lap of this race, and now all eyes are on Jeff Rohan to try to take this race win.
Well, I mean, Goyena really that fight had a lot of blunders, going off wide or overconfidence or whatever it was. It was definitely impacting both drivers, and Rohan did see the opportunity and managed to take a spot from him, giving them the net lead on the last lap of the race.
And right now, all eyes are on Jeff Rohan, who has basically kept his cool throughout the entire race. Obviously, it was Jeff Rohan's race for the taking. It's Daniel Goyena's race to lose. There has been a penalty going on, and right now, all the Sukonbus are now also currently part of the Kenzoku, because right now, Jeff Rohan might still have a chance to steal Sean Pauly's race lead on merit.
Which does seem unlikely. We're around halfway through this last lap of this race. It's finally coming to a concluding encore, whatever you want to call it. But it was definitely full of surprises, unexpected, etc., etc.
Anyways, we're talking about ups and downs here. Sean Pauly making a collision with Richie Rod on our track. This was what could have been Inugami Koroni and Sean Pauly's first win since the Fuji 2022 race, the summer race back then. But instead, it's going to be Jeff Rohan's first win in the ARO, and Tokoyami Towa's first win since the 2022 Suzuka Split A Race 2. And it's going to come down to the last lap. Let's see, there will be mistakes here. Sean Pauly is going to cross the line as the winner on track. Or for penalties that he needs to deal with. And instead, the win is going to go to Jeff Rohan for the Autopolis 400. Otiapi for Jeff Rohan for the win. The Tokoyami Towa fans, the Kentoku fans, rejoice.
Yippee! Oh my god, I'm so tired. I've been up since like 5 a.m. went to bed at like 2 a.m. So like, I'm a little sleepy, but this race has finally concluded, and after this, I'm finally gonna nap.
Okay, so we're gonna wait until the drivers conclude their run. Salaman, as you've seen on the final lap here, there was a good battle between them. Salaman manages to defend Nakamura for 9th place. Rustam Karashi on his debut finishes 6th place. Good job for him. Nikolev would secure the 3rd place spot in a place where he won like 2 to 3 months prior. And also looking into Lorenzo Ricci, the best Lexus all around, there will be another adjustment to BOP after this race to at least level the playing field. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, we're also looking into Zako drivers, the Zako position drivers in the Suyo spot. We're gonna have to wait until the adjustments in the order here, and then we have confirmation. After penalties, Sean Pauly will be dropped down to 15th place.
That's not that bad compared to what he would have gotten at least. And after shunting Richie Rod off, that's basically like a spanking compared to what Richie Rod got. So, but I mean, hey, justice is justice.
But anyways, Jeff Clark and Michael Turner, the last drivers to cross the line. These guys are gonna finish as the last drivers on the lead lap. And with that away, we can move on into the results. So let's take a look into basically where the drivers have finished. Sean Pauli might have gotten this win on track, but he will drop down to 15th place after post-race penalties, which means Jeff Rohan takes this win for the first time. For all the Kenzokus watching, they can now finally breathe a sigh of relief after a year and a half of waiting in the wings. Jeff Rohan finally wins for Tokoyami Toa. Daniel Goyena finishes a second place for his second time in his Aero career, in his Hololive GT3 career. Shame that he had to miss out on a win like this, but again, it's another close call for the drivers. And then we have Sakaji Miko left in the final podium positions for Sakura Miko. Shadoreza scores a very pivotal 4th place to put himself well up into the Suyo series. And then also Rustin Caraccio on his debut. Great stuff from him to probably get himself into the top 10. Jay Goodwin also has a good race in him to move himself into the top higher echelons of the Suyo series. And then Maverick Duciem undoes his mistake at Sportsline Sugo. Same goes for Crystal Salman. They now move up to 8th and 9th respectively. Irie Nakamura continues her top 10 streak with another top 10 finish here in Autopolis. Aki Tanaka finishes 11th, respectful finish from him. Lorenzo Ricci, highest Lexus all around. It does very well given the Lexus's handicap right now. Mama Cashew 13th, Raiji Kazuki 14th. Tyler Williams finishes 15th on the day Kanata is due to perform on her 4th anniversary live. And then we have Ed Sky and Rim Olgor 16th and 17th. Valsa Damashnev, Kaminai Riba, and Fabio Mendes rounding out the top 20. Fabio Mendes finally getting into that Tsuyo position, but it's not going to be enough for him to jump up into the standings. Callie Gibbons is the first driver in outside the top 20. He's currently in the first Zako spots, but his position inside the Suyo series may remain relatively unchanged. As it stands, he will still be in the Suyo. Then we have Takaboshi, Sinful, Kizara Liu, Liu, Ali Fartoyo, Evans, Jeff Clark. That might see them drop down a few positions. And then we have Michael Turner and Alex Rand in 29th and 30th. Daniel Barger and Richie Rod 31st and 32nd. And then we have the retirees, Hofumi, Althusser and Tanarao, and Mohamed Shakir Reza. So let's take a look into the replays and see what has happened to these three drivers who actually got on and retired from this race. But first, Z, your thoughts on this race?
It was cool, but it was also kinda... There was a lot of upsets, to say the least.
So first of all, let's take a look into what happened to Shakir Reza here. So as you can see here, he was actually slowed down by a lot of drivers here. You can see here there's also Althusser and Tanarao up front. So we're going to focus on Althusser and Tanarao first and see what's happened to him. This is the start of lap 2. Here's what happened.
And ooh, yeah, that is very wide. Screws up, and then it's just pandemonium. Everyone's just kind of trying to push through, get their positions, etc., all their bread.
Here's
they just had no room.
Anyways, here's onboard Althusser and Tanarao. You can see here also Irie Nakamura. I think that's Irie Nakamura at the back. Yeah, Irie Nakamura was at the back. She started at the back too.
Whoa.
So anyways, here's Irie Nakamura is on board at the back on Tanarao's spin. You can see Tanarao just losing control there. And I believe he also caught... oh, and there's also Vlasa Damashnev. There's a lot of drivers actually spinning out. So let's go on to a free cam, see what's happened here. And Tanarao. Then there's Jeff Clark and Vlasa Damashnev also making contact between each other. And then there's Shakir Reza too.
Yeah, and then just kind of blinded already by the spin out and everything. Ooh, just a lot happened there.
So we're gonna go into another replay here to see what has happened here. Here's another replay here. And you can see Tanarao spins out. Oh, you can see here, as you mentioned, a lot of pandemonium. You see Jeff Clark and Vlasa Damashnev, but good for Vlasa Damashnev and Irie Nakamura. They managed to actually make a comeback and a half from where they ended up. And so it's also for Fabio Mendes, who actually got up into 20th place.
Yep, that is my, not ancestor, that is basically evolving. I was the original Hakui Koyori driver. That is my I don't even know, bro. I'm sorry.
So anyways, there's onboard Mamashaki Reza. So there was contact actually further back. So if you want to know what happened to Damasha and Clark, here's onboard Shakib Reza. He actually made contact with Vladislav Damashnev and Jeff Clark. That's why both of the Lexus cars had made a spin. You see here. And then you see here Shakib Reza got a bit blinded, got hit by Antanarol, tried to continue, and then made contact into the barrier. And that was it for Shakib Reza. So let's go on to another onboard. Let's go for another outboard shot to see what is happening here on that first lap thing. Look at Shakib Reza and the two Lexus drivers. Just
I feel like that was somewhat of Shakib's fault. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to go for a three wide move where it shouldn't be three wide, but with Shakib Reza already out of the race, the penalty has already been served in of itself. So with that explains Shakib Reza. If there's another incident we want to take a look in, we've already seen Hofumi's spin in the pit lane. Have we been missing any accidents so far?
We saw Rod. There was Barger and Gibbons as well.
Well, but Richie Raw was at the front, so they won't be in too much of an issue.
Oh, you're talking about back there.
You're
talking about back there. No, I don't think we missed anyone.
Oh, but actually, there might be. Actually, we want to take a look into actually what happened to Daniel Barger and the battle between Barger and Rustim Karashio. Here's what happened to Daniel Barger that clogged up the entire field.
Oh man, that is ugly. Ooh. And
you see here.
Just bumped out by Clown, and then really slow, gets bumped again, I think.
Yeah.
It's a giant commotion.
Yeah, that explains Daniel Barger and all of the other drivers' end. And now you can see here, there's also a separate incident between Daniel Barger and Callum Gibbons, and you can see here.
And boom. Barger managed to come out of that relatively unscathed. I can't tell if that was intentional or not, though, actually.
I think we should come down as a racing incident because they were racing quite deep. You see, Gibbons and Barger, they were side by side, and you can see Gibbons had a lot of space.
They were way too aggressive. Yeah, but they was also really aggressive.
Yeah, they were both aggressive and they gave each other space. I think it's mostly just down to positioning, and so there should be no blame given to these drivers. This one should just go down as a racing incident. So that should be it for all incidents. We should go into the championship standings now. Okay, so with that out of the way, we will finally end this race with a bit of a recap into the championship order. So obviously, it's not going to be easy to paint the good picture on how the championship looks with Sean Pauly's penalty, but we'll show you the provisional standings with the cars finishing on track. We will adjust the point standings with Sean Pauly's 15th place or 15th place finish later, but for now, this is what we can come up with everyone so far. So here it is. As it stands provisionally, Sean Pauly has 615 points. But with that change, it's actually Raji Kaczynski who's going to actually take the championship lead in the top of the spot, with him currently in the lead. And then we may have Rim Olgo, Shazan Reza, Lorenzo Ricci, and Jeff Rohan. I'm going to show the top 10 first. And then we also have the likes of Jay Goodwin, Rustim Karashio, Callum Gibbons, Irie Nakamura, and Kamine Riba. That's all we can show you all for now. And as it stands, we're going to be updating the championship standings as it stands. So yeah, with that out of the way, we're gonna go ourselves into intermission once again to end the stream. I'm Mama Sharon Reza, and alongside me is Zeke Wimberly in the commentary booth, and hopefully everyone will be able to tune in to the next Formula Hololive race in Indonesia. It's a double header. Both Saturday and Sunday we'll see races in Mandalika, Indonesia for round 3 and 4 of Formula Hololive Indonesia. And we'll see you there in the end of January. We're going to be signing off here. And we've been watching the 2023 Autopolis 400 here in the Adak-RMS channel.